Pastor Ken, I'm gonna just a hug to you. I'm excessively worried about this COVID thing in you. And I saw that there was an uptick in New Jersey. It was one of the three states that, uh, you know, that was about a week ago. So, anyhow, that's where I'm at with. And I, 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 I'll try to keep this light. And you know, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Like I was protesting you being there with no tie, which meant, huh, I'm not gonna hear, I'm not gonna hear my buddy Pastor Ken, my son. But yesterday there was no Pastor Ken. That was not good. And I'm so honest. If anything else, you're the perfect person. Like, wow. Wow. So, but I want you to laugh about it. I had a hard problem. The entire hour and 20 minutes, I was not happy. And I will promise you, I will put the positive toot. The man who I'm assuming is your board president looks like my stepfather. I didn't like him. Well, I did at the end. That's a miracle. But he looks like him. That's a problem for me. I gotta listen to somebody that looks like my stepfather. I don't like this at all. Where's Pastor Ken? Where's Joshua? Where's my Kansas? You should tell him. I really think that the hippie guy was listening to Kansas before he got saved. Anyway, I heard it doesn't matter. So this is not good. This is not good. But I listened. I felt like I got on the wrong bus, but in honor of you, I just stayed on it. I really, Pastor. This is who I am. What astounded me, I was so disappointed, is how honest I am. I told you I like black people more than white people, and I like dogs more than all people. You put a polygraph on me. So even though he is the grooviest brother, he sang, and he's the evangelical Santa Claus. It didn't help me. I was not happy. Not happy. But I don't know. I have a hard time remembering anything. But last night, it's Monday, I'm going to say around before 3 p.m., I think. Which I always do. I watched again. These are omens about my struggles. Oh, Pastor Ken. Anyway, lo and behold, I was groovy. I was groovy for an hour and 20 minutes. I didn't see Yussel. And I was okay that I didn't see you except this coronavirus thing. You know, being on the streets, Pastor, more than anything else, Buddhists talk about their fourth principle, attachment and detachment. And, any person that's trying to help someone embrace the second part of the serenity prayer, God, grant me the serenity, the comfort in the time of trouble. Grant me the serenity to accept the things that will never change. Losing my father, being insane, left with an insane mother and a brother not to be found, which is why I ran away from home at 15. You see how well my mother protected me. She hired a man who fucked me in the ass for almost 2 years. God took away my protection early on. And I have a very difficult time with letting go. That man put a positive spin on that you're just, I don't know what the word is, but, quarantining out of courtesy. I think that's what he said. Either way. I just read about 3 weeks ago, Pastor, what they wrote about the man. They would have written about you. But he wasn't. He was some kind of executive, but a groovy guy, newspaper. Everyone loved him. The first break they got. Husband, wife, 3 kids. And I think they literally drove from like Midwest to down to the Florida area. All excited. Wow. But his kids jumped right in. There's a sign about riptides. And before he could do anything, it was already like they just jumped in the fire. So he jumped in to get him out of the fire. And he burned to death. The metaphor for the riptide. He was gone. Gone. So, Pastor, I have to tell you, if there's anything you help me with, is to try to stay in touch with that very sliver, 0.011 something percent that has real empathy in it. I don't want you in pain at all. I surely don't want you, all those that'll be affected. But I'm so afraid I'll lose you. It's funny, I looked at the time and said 9/11. Wow. There was one thing that stood out. One. There were a few light things, and I'll share them at the end. One. This is what stood out, if you can hear it. Do you know why it couldn't have a little longer ding? I'm not kidding you. There was a little piece of paper touching that bowl, and that drained that energy that would go so fast within the metal, shaking, and that's why it gives that a little piece of paper. Damn, but a little piece of paper was touching it. Wow. Still small voice, not in the thunder, whatever the other two were. Earthquake. I don't remember the other one. Of course, I hear so many voices, Pastor. And you're that, the last one. Ephesians 6:12, Pastor. Whether I live another 2 days, 2 minutes, 2 moments, or 20 years, I hear a lot more. It's very hard. And so it's funny because, and the funny's a good funny. A couple of months, less than 2 months ago, when Herman used to come here, I noticed something about Herman. His life is more secure in a weird way than mine, that's for sure. He's got safety nets and contacts. But in other ways, Herman is so less in control than I am. I don't know how that's possible. Nevertheless, I will miss him forever. But I noticed something about Herman. Like, we're jazz heads. I never had a jazz head friend ever. We could sit here for an hour. And we could intellectualize sometimes, but we weren't interested. We were looking for, in jazz. And so, what I noticed about Herman, because he'd come here sometimes, I'd be so insane, demonic. He'd have to wait while he just sat quietly. We had a pretty typical routine, and one of them was that I would turn on the jazz and find out who we wanted to hear, or I had a new little whoop-a-doo to tell, oh, I just heard, wow. We loved it. Like 2 kids. Like, we just couldn't play enough stickball together. But anyway, what I noticed about Herman, and then I remembered it about Elizabeth. As much as he couldn't wait to come here in the Mecca of jazz, because it wasn't something that his Jehovah Witness wife would permit, who's dying of cancer. And he didn't need it. He never needed it. Like, I gotta turn on jazz sometimes, like a tourniquet to stop the bleeding, or music, not jazz specific at all, music. But he has music, and Elizabeth had music flowing through them all the time. And I would in the background, because I'm always in the helicopter, I am somewhat aware, not always, but I've been aware enough, because there were so many times I couldn't stop my behavior, but I was watching it. And anyhow, like you're in a car, you know you're going to crash, but there's that 3 seconds that it's just nothing you can do about it. You watch it happen. So Herman would be singing while I was insane. In reality, I don't know if he purposely, because it didn't seem that he was trying to be David's harp to King Saul. But he was a piece. I've never had anyone other than my daughter. No one. No one. Episode after episode. Herman had seen me at least 15 serious times where that's the behavior. You go to a locked up psychiatric facility. And when I finally came out and apologized, whatever he said, he surely had his wetsuit on. I didn't affect him at all. There were some times, but not. He was much closer to Elizabeth than any other human I've ever met, which meant he just had a thicker, softy, Dr. Gregory too. Just my behavior didn't affect him. I was really, in the purest way, not judgmental or snobby. There, but for the grace of God go I. The beauty of the word pity. So the still small voice. So I even told her, I gotta learn to be quiet. I gotta learn to enjoy silence. I gotta learn to explore the sounds of silence. And of course that's the song I play to challenge people to be somebody's friend. I remember around Christmas time I'd always play Silent Night, and I would do a skit of how horrible it is to be isolated while the song's playing Silent Night, and I only had one punchline. They watched the skit and how horrible it is to be, it was pantomime, totally isolated and alone, nursing home, psych ward, etc. And when the song finished, I said, these people need a noisy night. Why don't you become a friend to the end? But anyway, but like you, who is a good detective and looks for the good, you do. You'll take the worst inside lining that people are wearing, and you'll do anything to try to take it off of them and turn it around and go, come on, man. You're good, man. You got some goodness. That's what you do with me. Anyway, so it was just that concept of I gotta be quiet. Not I gotta explore the sound of silence. The still small voice. So I wanted to tell you, and then I'll tell you a few light things. My daughter she had, I'll say, 3 piano teachers that my daughter couldn't read music nor write it. So the point is, I don't know what that was, but it was just a chore for her. But when we realized she had such an amazing voice, I'm pulling a John the Baptist. I'm a voice crying in the apartment. All right, here's the crazy John. Uh, I remember her name. But we had Rachel's had a piano room next to my office down in our basement, and so I could overhear when the voice teacher came. Wow. Wow. Now my daughter could sing like Judy Garland, Barbara Streisand, Liza Minnelli, Judy Garland's daughter. She was a real belter. And anyone that was in music used to go, wow, God gave her two ranges. That's why it was astounding. And so I heard the piano teacher. Now, of course, you there's something about you know. And so my daughter, having a father that was so emotional, I used to write. I'd always write the ending first. If I liked the ending, then the story in front of it didn't matter. The ending was good. The last shall be first. Yeah. But anyway, so I used to encourage her all the time. Sing it out! Yeah! Dig deep down there! It's your secret weapon! Bah! And a piano teacher. Because my daughter said, but my dad... I listened. I came out. And I said, Rachel Eston, your piano teacher's right. I told you to question authority. I told you as you get older you will realize how flawed all adults are. And you'll start going, oh, that's what I told you. You check out what Dad says. Don't believe what Dad says. And it might not fit up with your destiny. I said, and she was. And do you know the allegory she used? Now notice that the flute is my favorite instrument since like age 14 on when I started to go into music. My favorite place to go is to a library that forbids talking because I have too much noise. So she said to Rachel, and she did I had heard it already. She was like close to Rachel, and I don't know, it would just go A, B, C. And she went, A, B, C. And Rachel backed up. We kept playing with it. I got it. And I wanted to see the whole thing. So I told her to do it again. And then she went, and Rachel leaned forward. The still small voice. Still waters. So let's get light. Hopefully, please, God's. You're perfectly fine. And I used to have an unusual take. No more. This take was... Psalm 23, verse 1. And he maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. And I used to say, I don't know, a lot of people I know, they weren't sick, and then they were sick. Light switch. The light was on, and now it's off. So I said, when they recovered, I said, sometimes just God goes, lie down. It's for your good. And I was thinking about you last week. I didn't know you went away for a week, but the point is that I knew it. I talked about it, and I know. And I was thinking this, man. That's why I will forever keep telling you, you give me a lot more than the crumbs off your plate, and you don't have time for any of it because you're all in. Because of your soul, your heart, and your willingness to obey God, that love the stranger as yourself. It's hard enough to get people to love their neighbor as themselves. Forget the stranger, and that's you. So there's 8 billion people that you would stop as a good Samaritan. Stop for. So I've been worried about you, worried. And so the positive tink, we'll give it a double, that I was hoping was, wow, he gets a break. God's going, not even, lie down. More like, Kenny, you need a break. Take it easy. Here's a 2 week snow. Here's 2 weeks of snow days, and you'll catch up on things that are really important to you, but you just can't get to because you have a job, and the job is under a board, which is under a bigger board, and it's still a corporation in the way it's run, the decently in order kind of thing in Corinthians. So, and you're not opposed to that because you're a very circumspect soul, and you're a humble soul, so you're willing to go, okay, listen, I know I'm the pastor, but it doesn't mean God isn't going to use somebody to help me. And anyway, you're a busy man. So I hope it's a beautiful green pastures. I do want to tell you that our evangelical Santa Claus has the same smile that Elizabeth had. So I didn't notice any of that the first time around. But I surely noticed it all through the second time. I love that guy. And you know what he has? Same you. You both, like he stopped 3-4 times to go, wow, man. Like as if he was there telling us. Like, can you imagine? They're just being very human in his sincere reactions. Not put on, like, okay, like, staging it. Like it was real. Like you. I love that thing about your church. They're real. And then, of course, I was just real grumpy with your board of your head, or head of the board, or whatever. But then, wow, 41 years. It was a beautiful. It was beautiful what he did. It was. To his wife. That was gorgeous. A++. And I think the lightest thing is that if you look, I have a silly thing. Ooh, do I remember where it was? I even went back and noted it, but I didn't write it down. But first of all, you look at Ron Lamb. I don't know, Lamb. I love his last name, and I just love. He's so beautiful, but he was color coordinated, like you. Like I like look at that. It's just funny to me. He matched so well with the background. And it was during the man, and he was kind of giving how serendipitous it worked out that Ron was around and he wasn't supposed to be, and you were thinking about this anyway, and all of that. But I realized your congregation has a secret drink, and he said the name, but you'll never get it. Don't worry about it. We ever taught. But he said something. It was a play on words. So I heard that, the way he said it, and I heard it different. I said, oh, that's what this congregation, after communion, they're all going down to the local, Wawa and grabbing a quick bottle of, and don't worry about it. All right, 3232. I'll leave it there. And Pastor, I do thank you for getting back to me. And I am desperate. I am. June 1st is going to not be a very good day if I haven't had a rat-a-tat. A rat-a-tat. Rat-a-tat rescuer. I need to go to where I'm safe. I don't need to be told anymore that there's something ungrateful about me. That even though I look like a reptile, I'm really a mammal. And I can't live in the water. And they put all the mentally ill in water. And they're meant to be in water. I can't be in water. I realized I was telling one person I'm done. We passed it. But right at the end of the parking lot, before the woods, I can see it from my house, it just dawned on me. There is a garage that was built 40, 50. It's coming apart. There's animals in it. And all of that. And they just use it as a dump thing, whatever they use, And I said to myself, I was telling this man, I said, that's what I need. Like, if that little thing could get completely cleared out and wired right, and, so I got electricity, so I can plug in a heater, I can plug in one of those little air conditioners, and, that it got really, because I'm crazy about bugs, it's the insanity of me. But if that could get all caulked out and whatever, I don't need windows, I don't need nothing. If everyone loved me here, that's where I could live. Let's say the owners here just adored me. And they said, man, it's all right. Listen, we built all that up and whatever. Put a little electricity in it. Everybody loves you, man. You got it. Merry Christmas. Are you serious? Yeah. You just stay there, man. The animals love you. We love you. That'd be perfect. All right. June 1st is going to be a problem. That 40-minute, I want to remind you again, it is not edited. It was not ever planned to send to you. And it's raw. But I know your soul, and I just want to tell you, because I try not to be like that with you. But I wasn't making that for you. But I need you to watch it, because then you'll know. June 1st is it, if I get that far. So I don't know. If I perish, I guess. But I can't. I gotta have the right environment, or I will perish. It's not even the quality of life. I mean, I've had the police called on me 3 times in the last year because I said something on the phone to three different people. They were just calling like from an agency, and I just got crazy. They sent the police because they thought I was going to kill myself. Very volatile. All right, listen. I love you. I love you.